First off, I'm going to have a couple of drinks while I go through this with you for however long it takes. I've covered the logos because I've given enough free product placement these past few weeks. McGee Unseen, this self-aggrandising, self-promotional retrospective of basically what I've done this past year, talking about the projects which never got finished, never got released, some audition tapes that never came to be. I mean, there's not too much to go through. One such animation was titled Fridge Raid. I wrote around the time when the Raid 2 came out. It was basically a short remake of that film, but with the characters fighting with food. I tried to plan this being filmed in Grimsby, where I lived while I was at uni, but I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. I had the cast in mind, locations, storyboard. It just never came to be. It was a shit idea, but like most ideas, it just wouldn't go away. I did a few proof of concept animation pieces, just trying to prove myself really that I could do it. I couldn't. Moving on. A short-lived animation project I had was called Sin City Chronicles. It was basically like a motion comic, recreating films of the actors who were in Sin City. I bought the book. I'm no Frank Miller. It never really got past the writing stage, to be honest. I attempted to recreate the same sort of style for a short student film I was an extra in. Never uploaded it to Facebook simply because I wasn't really proud of it. Not the film, the film's good, but the poster was a bit shit. The last Flash project I'll talk about was going to be the first of a series of short music videos where I'd basically remake music videos and songs but from different artists. The first, which was the first project I started on animation wise, Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson performed Fancy by Iggy Azalea. Enough said really. Managed to animate and plan out enough of it to make me want to share it at least. I was liking it, you know, I think the animation was alright, it was working, and I really just kind of lost interest. It's a really slow process animating, so maybe something will come along that I will finish, but that just wasn't the case. A 4-minute video. The one I began to plan was to coincide with the birthday of Tupac Shakur. Tupac performs The Hills by The Weeknd. Given that Tupac actually died in a car, I figured it was a bit insensitive to finally go through and make that video. The last audition that I had in 2016 was for a Tesco advert. It was quite a big, high-profile thing for me, you know, first big advert. To all the people who I worked with on the Christmas markets, I didn't get the fucking job, alright? I also auditioned for this play for the Fringe Festival, playing a crackhead. I think I did alright, but I'm kind of glad I didn't get it. The only play that I've been involved in, the only time on stage, Carmen, you know, the opera, I was just an extra. Even then I was shitting it. So as far as auditions which I can show, ones that I can actually prove, rather than ones that I've got no real evidence of. All other ones, I got the role, so the films are out there for you to find if you want to see them. As for unsuccessful ones, however, there are two. One was later in the year for this Dracula film, where I was auditioning for the role of Renfield. So I just hopped on this bus to Whitby, iconic location for Dracula, you know, perfect scene. On the day, I just forgot everything and realised that I just didn't want to do it. What's western with splendid ridges over the Danube? No, I can't be asked for this. As for one that I actually followed through with, it was for a short film called Only the Strong, about a soldier suffering from PTSD. Paid job as well, hence the reason why I was so into doing it. I acted out the 2 scenes for the casting director, what she wanted to see, as well as a little something else just because he had the costume at hand. As for the 2 scenes, one was simply me waking up and monologuing to the camera, as auditions tend to be. The second was as a soldier lineup for barracks, involving essentially like a strip search. Yeah, I'm sure that footage won't ever come back to haunt me in the near future. On top of acting and directing and writing, I've also done a couple of posters, whether it be commission, my own, or just to promote the page a little. The first was for a music video I did, one of the first projects I had in 2016. I was an extra for Shot Horror's FUDT music video, so for its release I basically plagiarised the Suicide Squad. For the same filmmakers, DRS, No Promises, did the same thing. It looked more like Ice Cube in the final poster, but I think it worked pretty well. I made 2 films of my own in 2016, at least 2 which got released the same year that I filmed them. Obviously I made posters for these films just to get a bit of hype going. One of the bigger films that I did in the year, one that I'm more proud of, 776 by a very talented filmmaker. One way of showing my appreciation, I was also commissioned for my first poster as well, which is a bit exciting because you're expected to produce something rather than just surprising someone with it. This was for a novel called Void Deep Space. I think I should probably try and step away from the whole split face thing, but I'm good at it. You know, if it's not broke, don't break it. Now in 2016 I was involved in a few music videos, as I previously mentioned. 2 of them were for Steve Fatoon, who has his own little production company, Two Blind Men. For the second of them, he wanted me to play a colleague of the rapper of the video, Dr. B, or Joe Reed, proper sound guy. So I did, went and just fucked about in his office really, bee hunter and that. The footage unfortunately wasn't in the final music video. I understand why. I made a poster for it, but didn't turn out great, so again, didn't bother sharing it. I'd essentially storyboarded a full action short film, minus the main action sequence. An end of days zombie action film. Signed up with an airsoft zombie experience company. It's fucking awesome. Got me the job as third AD for a Carlos Gallardo film. Jason, fucking love you, bro. But I'm still planning on making it this year. Point Pleasant, a film of the Mothman prophecies, sort of. Storyboarded it all. Gambit XXL, which came close to filming. Planned everything for it. And even started casting it. I just didn't have the confidence or money to actually get it done. GTA Radio was one I was going to do before the Manchester Christmas market start. It was more of a Vine idea than a short film, but you know, Vine's dead now. Interstellar. Now, this was a film I was writing in my head when I first watched the Christopher Nolan film in IMAX, which I didn't like, by the way, if you're asking. The year I moved to Manchester, in between working at Wetherspoons, I planned on filming it. I made the 7-foot-long Stella can in the basement, made the cute little prop robots and all the posters. Never came about that year. I was making it for Empire Magazine's Done in 60 Seconds film competition. Quite a high profile project, so the year after, everything was just sitting there. Got a tax rebate a month before the market started. Get my ass in gear, actually get it made. Completely recast, remade the robots because they got all mouldy and shit. I finished The Basement, which came out to be about £250, something stupid like that. Great! You know what? Empire Magazine sent me a personal message saying the 60-second film competition isn't on this year. Sod's law. Thanks for watching and or listening to the video. I've not done videos like this where I just talk to the camera since before university, when I used to do film reviews. Don't search them out, they're fucking embarrassing. At the end of this video I'll send you links to social media, Star Now, IMDb, you know, that kind of thing. You know the score. Love out like that, mate.